All right, so this is gonna be a little bit more of a random ramblings topic, if you will, if you want to call it that. Just want to discuss, just some multiple topics here as I'm heading to back to my dump. Obviously, it's right back to reality for me. Basically, just started right at midnight. So that really completes my important 2.5 week big break. And I know that the one thing that I have really failed on for that, aside from what a lot of the other things I'm able to do successfully, is like just more on my job hunting. That's pretty much it for me, because had I done so much more of that, I know it takes some time based on the research that I've been doing for using ChatGPT on how I can find jobs to apply on if it's not, what the desired term is. If I'm referring to graphic design, obviously, talking in graphic design, they're going to ask you, especially now in today's world of graphic design, dealing with digital marketing, and that that they're gonna ask for more skills that I need to know. Obviously, UI and UX is already one that I already learned. At least just like the basic parts of it. Knowing the difference between UI and UX design. Now, I have not really been doing that as of late, as far as like learning the skills and all that. It is gonna take a whole lot, really, because now that I'm back in this reality, it's like, while I'm doing that, I just don't know how much more patient I will be on how much longer I'm gonna be dealing with this current life that I'm dealing with. I'm actually talking about my outside life. I'm not talking about my work life. I mean, obviously that ties into my outside life, but in the sense that I'm needing a new job. So obviously when I get paid better or higher, then that's going to help my chances of needing my own space eventually, right? So for the most part, like that's the one thing I can only control in itself, so that in the long run, I gotta do what I gotta do. These last 4 days, when I had the space to myself, it really makes me want to just really have it permanent. And I get that. I understand that from my perception of, this is what I want, this is what I need. I need to do this, you know what I'm saying? My therapist and I had an entire, well, I wouldn't say entire, but like at least a third of the rest of this session on, me just needing my own space. And, that it turns out to be, it's a little deep, but for the most part, it's I feel like it was a better conversation, or a better topic than it was last time. Obviously, these lights get real tricky. That's why I bothered to stop, because I don't want to run through that red light. I had this issue before where, going into the freeway ramp, the light, like when I see it's green, if I go forward, and I go through already, it's already gonna be red. I ran into that issue before, so I decided to stop, knowing it was gonna turn red, and then after that, it's gonna turn green. So I'm being smart this time. But anyways, getting back to what I said, it's like, I know I keep saying back to reality, but I just don't know how much longer I'm going to be dealing with this kind of reality, okay? Like, I gotta take it. I gotta take this step, man, because with my age, dude, like it should have, like, I can say this now since I never said it before. It should have happened, and the reason why I'm saying that now is because, like, and I let myself get into this position, and that this outside life is really starting to get more and more chaotic, and knowing that you can't really deal with much now, it's my whole life is just filled with lots and lots and lots of things like you will never see in any other house. You can almost equate it to like the antique mall in Orange, where there's just, I'm not saying it's like that to where the spaces are like so narrow, but I really love that mall, by the way. It's really awesome, the antique mall. But yeah, like, and not like that, but it's just like the minute I come into the house, coming home from work or just hanging out with friends, it's just a lot of that stuff. And it wasn't like that these last couple of weeks, and now it's back to that again, unfortunately. I almost had to think to myself, like, see, I can't really say what I really want to say, and it's not because I'm going against these certain, I'm not saying words that are like against the rules and all that, like, but it's just a lot of what I'm gonna say. I really just don't want all of my friends who are subscribed to me to hear me out what I was gonna say. This is where I would need like a Patreon or some other video site where I could be able to express really what I need to say, but I can only go off of like the generality of what I think will have at least some of these friends understand what I'm going through. Neil understands what I'm going through, since like the last time we hung out, like he knew my situation, but for the rest of the audience, like I can only keep it so general that, like, just hoping that they will get a good understanding of where I'm coming from. And I'm pretty sure guys like Russ and Carlos will know, but they can only go off of what I say that I think will make them understand. Now, like, I can only go as far as saying, this reality I'm in is like, it's still gonna be tough. It's back to reality, and it's back to the tough life that I feel stuck at, unfortunately. But this is why at some point, after what I've been through, not just for this entire important 2-week break, but just regarding like the last 4 days, like, I think I just got to do it, but the problem is I can't do it right now. I can't. I want to. I can't. And even if I wait to do it like in the next 2 weeks or so, or like in the next month, I still can't. That's why I need a new job. So, I don't know how much more time I'm going to be wasting with, I'm going to say wasting. I don't mean to say wasting. Like, I don't know how much time I'm going to be spending to continue doing this research of ChatGPT, when all I'm doing is just looking for a new job. If that's the case, then I got to keep looking at non-graphic design jobs. I'm just going to go off of that list if I really want to just get myself out there. And so, like I said, in the meantime, even per Neil's advice, then yeah, I got to, I'll work anywhere, anywhere else that is not a graphic design job but pays higher and matches the benefits, so that in my downtime I can actually continue to do what I do. Studying learning these new skill sets of what what most, or just say all graphic design jobs need now, right? Especially with the use of AI, I can do that. But I mean, that's the most I can do, and I'm really gonna need it this time, because like if I'm only being paid $17.75, I mean, dude, that's getting me nowhere, because the salary ain't the annual salary ain't gonna be enough, for me to just do my part going into the future. There's no way, man. You know what? I'm really starting to believe that Paula is right. With the exception of this dump, I'm sure all other companies, like, they'll give the new hires a better raise and all that than the ones who will stay long term. So for me, I got to do my part. I got to do it, because the longer I stay, I'm still gonna get a raise, but it's only gonna be like 50 cents, and it's been that way since I started. So it's making my life a disgrace, in that I'm here where I'm at, and unfortunately, it's like, I hate to say it, man, like I feel like I'm allowing myself unintentionally to keep living this life, and knowing that it's just like I'm treated like, that they're never gonna, not that they don't literally think that I'm, trustable, but it's like, as long as I'm under my own family's roof, it's like they think I might just be, living there for life, and look, yeah, so I can only go off that far, because I really don't feel comfortable saying what I really need to say. I might just drop a video about that, like, in a later part, maybe like a little bit later today, because I really want to get my thoughts across. I don't want to say what I say here. I mean, like, as far as like the personal, my personal matters, but I really don't go on like talking about my personal matters like that in pertaining to my outside life. I'm talking about my home life and all that. I don't go that far. So, I can only go off of the generality of what is received here at Yes job situation and all that. So it is what it is. I'm gonna be dropping that later on, and I need to figure out where or what other site I can use to where I'm gonna, I will allow guys like Neil to really see what I feel. I mean, he knows. I already told him about what I'm going through. I mean, he knows the situation. But yeah, as for the rest, I mean, I think only Neil and maybe like a couple other people will trust me on this. So anyways, yeah, I'll drop that later on. All right, peace.